What is professional project management? In this video, I am going to talk about the difference between professional project management and maybe the not so professional. And I really believe, because you're awesome and you want to do a great job, that you're going to love this video, because there are very unprofessional things that we have to stay away from in this industry in project management. And then there's the professional way to do things. If you're interested in that, please stay with us in this video. So check this out. Let me just paint a picture here. And I'm not making fun of the person, because this may be how they were taught. Imagine a project management professional not paying on time, not being very clear about communication, always rejecting things, creating contention, starting fights, trying to negotiate down the overall cost of what a trade is submitting for in their pay application, always negotiating to remove additional profit from trade partners, always threatening with cure notices and contracts, talking down to you, threatening, requesting and asking for things that are above and beyond the ability of other people to provide it, spending most of their time on email, not really having real communication, wasting most of their time on needless administration. This is the world we live in today. And it's so sad, because project management professionals in construction are very important, and it can't just be reduced to this. This is what modern project management is. Behind a computer, emails, typing all day, every day. That is not professional in any way, shape, or form. And there are some really key habits that I'm going to talk to you about right now that will turn your project management skills and your project management game, and it will take it to the professional. So let's go ahead and do that right now. The first thing I want to talk about when it comes to being professional is that you are reliable. And that means that you are reliable from a communication standpoint, that as a project management professional, you are reliable when it comes to getting the people to the job well trained with clarity. It means that you and the job site team are reliable when it comes to getting materials and information to the project site. And one of my biggest pet peeves, that you are reliable when it comes to paying people on time. The average amount of time that it takes to get paid by a general contractor is up to 9 months. It's ridiculous, it's unfair, and you are actually, when you do that, putting trade partners at risk of going out of business. That is the definition of unreliability. The other thing, let me give you an example. There was one time when I, as a superintendent, was asked, not by the project manager at the time, but by the self-performed project manager in the company that I work for, to change the deal for a series of trade partners, for a group of trade partners that were going to install in the interiors of a building. Here was the deal. I said, hey, in the basis of schedule, before we ever bought people out, I said, hey, the basement level 1, we're going to frame most of the walls, because we have to do overhead and then right down in the wall. But levels 2, 3, 4, and 5, not a big deal. We are going to do just the priority walls, then all of the overhead MEP, and then we're going to frame the walls and come down the walls. And the self-performed project manager was basically like, yeah, no, Jason, I know it's in the contract. I know that's what you promised him, but change it because we'll make more money. That is the epitome of being unreliable, meaning that your word doesn't mean anything. So if we want to be professional project management leaders, we have to be reliable in every sense of the word. The second thing that I want to talk about is that we have to create real production systems. A lot of times we think it's about email, it's about that RFI, it's about that submittal. No, 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 no. Technically, you could get verbal RFIs, they could pay you in cash, and you could literally talk in meetings. Like, all of this administrative stuff is just tech, and a lot of it is not necessary. The key that we have to do is build real production systems. Let me explain this. A general contractor's job, if you want to make it super simple, it's to provide the environment and the rhythm in the field. But if you want to add to that, it's to provide a remarkable, clean, safe, and organized environment that is logistically stable, to create a production plan that keeps the rhythm on the project site beautifully, and to provide the project with all needed humans and resources and permissions throughout the duration of the project. And most importantly, number 4 is to make sure you have an integrated environment. That's what we offer. That's what we do. That's a real production system. So if we want project management management to be professional, less administration, more production system, more real focus on people, process, and quality, more of doing the right things at the right time, more environment, more beautiful rhythm, more of people having what they need when they need it, more integration and less fighting. And that's key. The other one, the third overall topic, if we want to take project management and turn it into professional project management, is that we will make sure that things are ready for people out ahead. And this is not derogatory in any way, shape, or form. I tell project managers the number one question that a project manager needs to be able to ask is, what do you need? Not because they're like the gopher, they're leaders and we respect them and we love them, but the PM is here to clear the road, to turn all the lights green, as the lean builder folks would say. Make sure all lights are green. That means we have permissions, that means we have equipment, that means we have labor, that means we have materials, that means we have information, that everything that we need. If you are being a professional project manager or project management leader on your project delivery team, you will keep all the lights green for the job site so that they can do their work. The next thing I want to talk about, which is global item number 4, is lead the people, manage the system and the environment. People need to be led. They need multipliers. They need people to train them, provide clarity. Oh, the definition of leadership is this simple: clarity, training, support. If you are doing those 3 things, you are a leader. I know there's a lot of things that people talk about, like let's just loop in Jocko Willink, where he says take extreme ownership. Go ahead and provide the correct resources. Let the person make the plan. Support them with clarity and leadership and support. Support them with training. Let them go win and help them along the way. Guess what Jocko just said? Clarity, training, and support. Clarity, training, and support. Project managers need to lead and inspire people, and they manage things. So when we're managing things, that means the environment is clean, safe, organized, beautiful, and that it's functioning, right? And then the things, like you can manage tools, you can manage a spreadsheet, you can manage costs, you can manage things. Remember that if you want to be professional, you lead people, you manage things. Number 5, you use metrics as signals to dig in and work shoulder to shoulder with people and not as weapons. If you want to be professional, you're not going to yell at people, you're not going to scream, you're not going to threaten cure notices before it's needed, you're not going to throw contracts in people's faces, you're not going to try and screw people out of money, you're not going to threaten, you're not going to use numbers to wield over people and to boss and control them. You are going to use them as signals to dig in, dig deep, and help people. And lastly, you're going to, if you want to be professional, coordinate with respect and precision. The best project management professionals out there know what they're talking about. They dig in and they solve problems with people instead of threatening people in a toxic environment. Remember that topic: integration, 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 integration. We need to be close as a team so that we get rid of or prevent the 9th waste, which is unhealthy conflict or a lack of alignment. So ask yourself this question: in your role, are you reliable? Are you out there making sure that you're doing your duty as a general contractor? Are you fostering collaboration? Are you preparing work? Are you helping the job site to succeed? If that is the case, you are bringing this role back to the professional. And if you're on emails all day threatening people with contracts, you're disconnected, you don't know the numbers, you're running the job in the ground, you're making unrealistic demands, you're batching, wasting people's time, not paying them for 9 months, that is unprofessional and we have to stay away from it. So I'm going to give you a blog post that differentiates between these two, and I also am going to, in the description below, give you some links to some really cool books and encourage you to help me and all of us to elevate this industry to make project management professional. That's what everybody deserves. I hope you've enjoyed this video. On we go.